In a land far, far away, there lived a miller with his 3 sons. When the miller died, he left his oldest sons the mill, and to his youngest son, he left his cat. His younger son got really upset. Unlike his brothers, it was almost impossible for him to get by with the will he had got. He looked at the cat and said to himself, "What can you do with a cat? You can't even eat it." But suddenly, something very unexpected happened. The cat answered back.
"You're awfully wrong about me, sir. I can be much more valuable to you than you think."
The young man was stunned to see the cat talking. He asked, stuttering,
How's that possible? If you bring me an empty sack, a hat, and a pair of boots, I will show you how."
With his surprise wearing off, the young man thought to himself, if this cat can talk, he sure might know something.
All right, let's see what you can do.
Young man brought everything the cat had asked for. The cat put the hat on, put his boots on, went to the mirror and looked at himself with pose, then put a bunch of lettuce along with 1 carrot in a sack and took off. When in the wood, he opened the sack and put it on the floor. Not long after, noticing the fresh aroma of the vegetables, a bunny rabbit appeared. In order to eat the lettuce and carrot, the bunny rabbit entered the sack. The cat then quickly ran to the sack, tightly tied it up, and trapped the bunny rabbit in there. Instead of taking the bunny rabbit to its owner, he took it to the castle and told the guards that he'd like to see the king. Seeing a talking cat that's wearing a hat and boots, the guards quickly took him to the king's presence.
Mighty lord, I present you the gift of the Prince of Carabas. My master, the Prince of Carabas, has caught this bunny rabbit for you just now.
The king was very impressed with this gift. For a very long time, Puss in Boots continued on bringing animals that he caught for the king. And soon after, everybody in the kingdom began to talk about the prince's generosity and wealth. Each passing day, the king's curiosity grew, and so one day he asked Puss in Boots,
"Is your highness young?"
"Oh, young and very handsome indeed."
"Is he rich?"
"Very rich, your highness. He would be honored to welcome you in his castle."
At last, the king and queen were very happy to hear that they were going to meet this very handsome prince. "If what Puss in Boots says is true, I think we might have just found the perfect husband for our daughter and a suitable prince for our kingdom," said the queen. A few days later, Puss in Boots found out that the king and queen were out on the town with their daughter.
"This is the day I've been waiting for."
He ran straight to his owner.
"Sir, we have to go to the riverbank right away. Follow me quickly."
The young man did not understand what was going on, but he did, as he was told.
"But why did we come here?" "To swim, sir."
"To swim? But I don't know how to swim."
"It's better that you don't. Take off your clothes immediately and get in the river. Trust me, sir, you won't regret it."
Young man did as he was told and went in the river. And Puss in Boots hid his owner's clothes behind the bushes. When the king's carriage was passing next to the river, Puss in Boots ran to them, alarming.
"Help! Help! My master, Prince of Carabas, is drowning!"
The king immediately sent his men to the river. When his men were saving the young man, Puss in Boots explained to the king how the thieves had stolen his master's clothes. The king ordered the men next to him.
Bring some of the best clothes we have to the prince.
With his new clothes, the young man looked just like a real prince. When he was walking towards the king's carriage, the princess and the queen were watching him. The young man came next to the king and bowed before him.
I can't thank you enough. My master, the Prince of Caraba, will be honored to host you in his castle, my king. I'll go now and prepare.
Puss in Boots quickly ran off. The young man did not really understand why he was called the Prince of Caraba, but again he thought that Puss in Boots was up to something and kept silent. The princess immediately fell in love with this handsome prince. While running fast to a castle that belonged to a monstrous giant, Puss was yelling to the farmers that worked along the way.
The king is approaching. If he asks, you will say that all this land belongs to the Prince of Caraba, or else he will punish you.
Puss in Boots was running, and at the same time he was repeating the same to everyone he saw along the way. While the king's carriage passed along the way, everyone kept saying the same thing out of fear. The king was surprised that the prince owned such vast amount of land, but he was happy nonetheless. Meanwhile, Puss in Boots arrived to the giant's castle and knocked the door. The door opened with a big noise. When he saw a cat in boots with a hat, the giant was very surprised. When Puss in Boots started to talk, the giant was surprised even more.
Good day, Your Highness.
Who are you and what are you doing in my castle?
Puss in Boots started to implement his plan.
Well, let me put it to you this way, Your Highness. I am the king's loyal servant. The king has told me much about your amazing abilities on magic.
Yes, that is right.
For example, are you able to transform yourself into a huge lion?
Sure I can. This is very easy for me.
Using his amazing magic, the giant transformed into a huge lion. Puss in Boots got very frightened, of course, and jumped as high as he could.
Okay. That's enough.
The giant transformed back to his normal self.
That was amazing. I bet it's impossible for you to transform into any small animal, though. I'm not sure. What do you say?
Impossible? I can transform into any animal I want.
Let me say... Can you transform into a small mouse?
The giant was laughing so loud that Puss was having trouble staying in the same spot. And so the giant used his magical strength and transformed into a mouse. Seeing the giant transformed into a mouse, Puss quickly jumped on the mouse, and with a big bite, he got rid of the giant. Meanwhile, the king's carriage approached the giant's castle, and Puss quickly ran towards the king.
Your Highness, my lord, the Prince of Caraba's castle is at your service. Please come in.
The king, queen, princess, and of course the young man gazed at the castle with admiration. While walking towards the castle, the queen asked the young man, "My dear prince, are you married?"
No, Your Highness. If you would allow me to wed your beautiful daughter, I promise you that I will make her very happy.
A huge feast was prepared at the giant's castle, and the prince and the princess got engaged. Soon after, they got married.
Do you see, sir? I told you how valuable I was going to be.
From that day on, Puss in Boots continued to be the prince's loyal servant. Together, they lived a very rich and healthy life.